You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Nick.
And we are here with Annabelle and Kari Layland, alphabetically. Annabelle is an actress who leans a little bit into writing, and you may know Kari Layland as one of the leaders of North Star Film Festival, in addition to being a professional photographer, DP, director, writer, stunt woman, acclaimed actress. I don't know, is that enough?
Yeah, I think you covered enough.
All right, so now you can say anything you want about the movie. What do you want to say?
Backrooms spoilers, just so everybody knows.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the back. We're Upper Midwest filmmakers, and this is a debate show, not a review show.
In the actual Backrooms, he was talking about like the, I guess, entities or the things with like the multiple faces. One was like what he kind of remembered of his wife, or he said, what's left in your memory or in the Backrooms memory, or what he said was what they looked like. And I guess what was left of them is what his memory of them was left. I didn't say that very clearly, but
they were saying, like, if you describe a dog to somebody who's never seen a dog, and then ask them to draw it, what would it look like? That's like what you're seeing in the back room. So it's like,
yeah, it's what's left in your memory.
You think it's like a collection of memories?
Yeah,
from different
I think
people?
that's what they said too.
It's a refraction of a bunch of people's memories, which is kind of like what the internet is. And actually, our memories we think are somebody had to think of it to put it down. So they take that from storage and then put
but
it in.
the internet isn't always stuck in like these, I want to call it 90s aesthetic, this ugly yellow wallpaper.
Well, and on the internet, if somebody posts it, it doesn't change over time. It's just, is what it is.
Articles get updated all the time.
Oh, sure, an article, but you put something on the internet, it's not gonna like start warping into some weird version of it.
If you try to tell somebody something that happened, it does. Because people get their information from the internet.
If you tell a story, then they could, But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of that is like I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't know how much of it is based on something tangible like that. I don't know. Maybe the writer really wanted to, they were actually talking about the internet or something like that. But, I mean, could it also be true that they're just trying to tell an eerie story? And it's like, okay, is this the memories of anybody who's been trapped in the back rooms at one point or another? Or, I mean, because it's not like there's like a memory of like dozens of people that have never been there. It seems to be people who have existed in that space at one point or another.
Is everyone here familiar with the idea that people die twice? When they physically die and the last time someone speaks their name, as in when the memory of them dies, they die a second time? Okay, you've heard.
I haven't. You know what? I haven't heard it, but I think I thought of it myself years ago without anyone telling it to me. I'm like, what happened?
If I could explore the back rooms of your mind, I would love it.
Questioning. You don't want to explore those back rooms, but
I'm way into those back rooms. Did you?
Questioning like my belief, because I used to believe in ghosts like pretty hard, and then I started questioning: do I really like? What do they just go? Eventually, what happens? They just go away because these are the things I think about because I'm weird. And I thought of it in that context. Like, do they eventually just go away because, no one's thinking about them anymore?
Can I play with the idea further?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm saying that it's the internet, but it's also because of the internet, we've created purgatory. Because another metaphor people are putting on this is purgatory. So, like, what if you die physically, but your spirit and mind cannot die until, and how would we know we're alive, right?
Well, yeah, but his wife is still alive, though.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Right.
So what if Backrooms is the purgatory, like the other dimension, like purgatory that exists because so many people are stuck in the afterlife and aren't transitioning over because we have this catch-all of all known human information, which is the internet, that is now getting scraped up and turned into artificial intelligence. And our big fear is that this thing will overcome our existence as humans.
Well, we don't see evidence of like tons and tons of people's memories though in the back rooms. We see evidence of Clark's memories, and we see evidence of Mary's memories, and that's about it. And we only see Mary's after she's entered. So.
And he's been consumed.
No.
He's been consumed by that point.
What do you mean
They
consumed?
went in and they went down the...
Wait, you mean... Oh.
They got caught by whatever the entities are.
Oh,
Is that what
consumed
we
in
call
that
them?
way. I didn't know what you meant by consumed.
Entities are different than monsters. Entities are people that have entered the back rooms, and I think now they exist as an identity within the back rooms, whereas I think the monsters are something else. Am I understanding this correctly?
The monsters is in the people with the weird faces?
No. I think the monsters are, or eventually maybe entities develop into monsters that attack the...
We don't know.
Become cannibals because they eat.
See any of that.
Isn't it great? You can eat the people here.
Yeah.
Sure.
Was that a thing already in Backrooms?
No, I had not heard of that.
Okay.
That was totally new, and
That was random.
A lot of my metaphor hinges on that because it's like, oh yeah, the internet's a bunch of cannibalism intellectually.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, isn't it a bunch of like we all stand on the shoulders of everyone that has come before us. Like we think about, the rights we have or something like that, or the technology we have. All those things are, so we've cannibalized what's come before us. I don't know.
But there's only furniture in the back room. So what part of... Compare that to the internet. What are furniture in the internet?
Oh, I'll give a good example, which will tie into the production, is that one of the things people are doing with Blender now is that when there's like a new piece of any like physical object...
Hold on, you should give some context for Blender.
Oh, could you explain it actually?
Well,
or anyone other than me explain what Blender is.
Yeah, I mean, Blender is like the 3D animation program that Kane Parsons initially built the Backrooms in. It's just, it's a 3D animation program.
And the deliverable is satisfactory for cinema quality in some cases.
It can be, yeah. If you
like
do it,
flow, for example.
If you do it right, yeah. If you do it right, it can be, yeah.
Because you need correct art direction, and like part of what makes his like 3D renders or his computer generated images work is that he puts a filter over them that makes it look like it's in the 90s.
Yeah,
so
it depends on how you render it. The filter helps hide the fact that it's probably not photorealistic without it. But there are render plugins that you can do to make it look super photorealistic. But that's what it is.
I'll try to get the guests into something they may disagree with me on. I think this is too much like Stranger Things, and that's what made me lose interest.
Go ahead. Anything like Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, we watched the whole series. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can see where you're going with it, but I don't see that as the same.
Could you explain to my younger brother where you think I'm going with it, and then explain why I'm wrong?
I can tell you
Well,
why
I
you're
mean,
wrong.
just
They're
like
no kids.
they went through a portal and they found a new world. There's parallels there, but I don't know. I feel like this is more of a. I mean, there's a lot of emptiness in the Backrooms where I feel like it's all about the monsters in Stranger Things, and just I don't know. I see the similarities, but I feel like it has a totally different vibe. Yeah, I think, well, I mean, did you have something to say about?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that the Backrooms is more psychological, I guess, and it's trying, I think one of the goals in that movie is trying to be eerie, sort of, and in Stranger Things, I think it's less of that and more, like you said, focused on the monsters and how they're kind of solving it or solving the problem with the monsters. And in the Backrooms, I don't know, I think that was one of the parts I think might have been a little unfinished. I mean, they went in there, I guess it was, since Stranger Things is a series, it took a lot more time for them to figure it out, and they also had a girl with powers, so it's very different. But in the Backrooms, they didn't focus on really solving the problems with the monsters, and I guess Mary was the only one kind of having a chase with it. because Clark, I don't know, something happened to him where he was going crazy near the end, and I guess we never really found out what happened to make him like that. And then, yeah, he got but by the monster, I guess, and then, yeah, the only excluding the 2 younger people who went in with Clark, that was kind of the only chase in there, but they never really tried to get, well, yeah, I guess Mary was the only one trying to kind of get rid of the monsters, but
Yeah, fighting back.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
Stranger Things is a lot of like the teamwork of this
Yeah.
group of friends, and it's all about like them working together to overcome this. You know, I don't know, all of what Stranger Things was. I mean, there's so much involved in that, but I feel like Backrooms is a lot more solitary. You know, it's like one person at a time going through this, and they are so alone, and they're just going through all this vast emptiness, and until it gets weird and they're surrounded by just odd developments that monsters, warped memories, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, other than Vecna, you know who I think the biggest monster in Stranger Things is?
Okay. Who? The kids?
The U.S. government,
Oh.
which I think is directly analogous to async.
Yeah,
Sure, okay, but
I don't think we learned enough about
Yeah.
async to really
It frames
give
the
it
movie.
a villain status. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
The thing-
It only
one
existed
person-
at the very end,
Yeah.
and
No, in
then
the
what
beginning-
did they do? They were going in, they were exploring, they put this paper cutout thing in there, and then we don't see them again until they're interviewing her, or she runs in, and you don't know if they're helping her or what, and she ends up in an interview, and then cut to her.
I don't think
broken.
she's out, do you think she's outside the back rooms when she's being interviewed by Mark Duplass? His character name is Phil. I think she's in the back rooms. And
Yeah,
he's
I-
like in the upside down with her and like
Sure.
trying to interview she's gone.
But
She's
did
out.
they create it? Whereas in Stranger Things, they opened this up using these kids and
We
all
were
of
an
that.
MRI company. Now we're not.
Okay.
Yeah, well, in the
I mean,
YouTube videos, yes, they technically opened up the gate into the back rooms.
They say
Yeah.
that at the beginning
is that
of
what
this
they?
too.
Is that what they? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with the YouTube videos,
Well,
but
do you remember the opening before we meet the characters? Where you see like somebody
The
in-
one async guy in the beginning.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that the found footage video
Yeah,
where he's
exactly.
running around and yeah.
And then you see like the thing turn off, and in the reflection of whatever you're watching, you see people in like lab coats. Who
Yeah.
are part of async.
So they're
like,
in there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, they don't do a whole bunch.
They're allowing this
the
to
only
happen.
the
They're
only
bad
thing
guys.
the only thing that we really learned about them was that they're trying to figure out what the back rooms is, and like I haven't seen anything else about that they caused it or any of that stuff. But the only thing that the film told us was that they are trying to figure it out. That's all that.
Also,
guy
the
mentioned
U.S.
at
government
end,
does a
but-
lot more in Stranger Things than they do.
Yeah,
in,
they're
yeah.
there's
Their physical presence. This is just a bunch of async employees talking to Mary at the end.
I think human to human, we have a responsibility one to another. If you see somebody being tortured in front of you, you have a responsibility to make sure. I don't think that's how that should happen. Can I stop it? Essentially,
that's
they're
not what we're
signing
talking
people up
about
to
here,
be tortured to death, right?
In
Are they
back
though?
rooms?
Like I
The
didn't
people- like, we
get
assume
that
they're dead.
information. I don't.
Well,
Well,
they're
I don't
being
know that
tortured.
they.
What do
I
you
don't
mean
know
they're
that they
tortured?
did it. There's what did.
Well, the guy's
what
missing,
evidence?
and then she goes there. So they're not existing
Right.
in our plane of existence.
But I didn't see
anymore.
any evidence that Async was responsible for it.
They were complicit. They were, in the very least, complicit. Possibly
Okay.
profiting off of the
Yeah, but we
information
don't know
they
they're
gained.
torturing people, though. What do you mean?
Yeah, I
Well,
don't.
also,
I don't
he said
know
they don't
anything
feel
about
anything,
that.
So how do you torture something that
Yeah,
doesn't
that doesn't
feel?
feel anything.
Who
So-
doesn't feel
Are we
anything?
torturing the people who are going into it, or are we torturing
Yes.
these entities
copies,
inside? I
yeah.
don't know.
No, okay, so what I'm saying is the person who goes into it is like you're intentionally letting them be harmed by going in. So instead of anything, like sure, research it and all of that, but first do no harm. I think.
Well,
you should-
it's not their fault if they're like 50 miles away in the back rooms and this guy
Yeah,
enters
so
at
you're
mile
saying
one.
that
Yeah.
they knew that they were going in here and doing all
they
of
have
this?
to know to observe them, don't they?
Okay, so what?
Sure, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if you knew someone was going to get hurt, don't you have a duty to like tell them, don't do that. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, aren't these guys bad guys?
I don't know. I didn't see any cameras in there. I guess
they're bad
didn't
guys.
really,
I don't know what's. They're
I
the
may have
bad
missed
guys,
that.
sure.
Yeah.
Would they even have a way to tell anyone
Yeah.
to get out? I don't think like. I
You
mean,
can make that argument.
I saw no, like they definitely have cameras in there, but like, can they speak over an intercom or anything? I don't know.
So the argument I think you're making is they may not know how people get in. They just know they're in once they're in, and then they're not.
And
the
they
bad
might not
guys
be
if that's
able
the
to.
case.
They might not be able to communicate. Say, hey, get out of there. You know, I mean.
How familiar has anyone read Chaos by Tom O'Neill, a book that came out in the past 3-4 years? Okay. It deals with how the NSA did tests on the domestic population. This is a very famous book right now, Chaos, Tom O'Neill. Look it up, trust me. And that's a good basis for like what Stranger Things is based on. And like, I don't think this is literally based on copypasta. So like,
Creepypasta?
no, creepypasta is a form of copypasta, correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But in this context, it's creepypasta.
Yes. This
Yeah.
specific form of copy. Am I using these terms correctly?
I think so.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
haven't seen it.
Not really.
Okay.
I wouldn't
So someone
expect it.
copied and pasted a picture of a office building that was empty in 2003.
Okay.
The director of this movie will be born a couple of years later, and then that circulated on 4chan with just people going, making up stories about this. It's equivalent of Slender Man, or how
Okay.
other like urban legends like
Sure.
form over time. But now because of the internet, we have this thing. Okay.
Where are you going with this?
The copy pasta, like
Uh-huh.
it's just copy and paste, and people know what's going on in the internet. Somebody does. Your IP provider does.
Yeah, okay, so my counter as to why they're not telling Clark to get out of there is because maybe they don't know if he's a copy. Right? I mean, if they counter other copies, then they're going to assume this is just another copy walking around. It's not an actual person in there. Right? I mean, that could be an
Or
explanation.
by the time the person's in there, they're screwed. So
Yeah, dead.
now all you can do is study them. Like, hey, you have the cancer, and we're going to study the cancer so that we can
Yeah.
hopefully, in 10 to 20 years, develop the therapy that will have people die.
I mean, to
slower.
be fair, they took Mary out. She's out. They helped her a little bit at the end.
But we're not sure.
Yeah, we don't know, I guess.
sure,
I mean, that was what we saw at the end. Was that her, or was that a copy of her?
I think it was a
And,
copy of
yeah,
her.
I mean, it looked like the copies. But then, we
Oh, yeah.
don't know what happened to her.
Yeah, at the very
And-
end.
And like, oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, that's kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of problematic for, I don't know why you end a movie that way.
Yeah, I agree.
What it said
I
to
don't
me
feel
was
like it resolved.
what
Yeah.
it said to me was that she was like they represent a duopoly of someone trying to start a business and someone who goes the traditional route of like, I'm going to get an advanced degree and then I'll
Oh, no, he's an architecture.
well,
He has
okay.
a degree. You need a degree to do that, don't you?
Both of them have college degrees.
Yeah.
That's great. You should go to college. Okay. Your statistically your earnings likelihood will go up if you go to college. If you complete high school, first of all, your earnings potential will go up. If you go to college, your earning potential, and then you might be screwed if you go and don't finish. But I'm just saying that's true.
That's true, I'm just saying.
saying.
Yeah.
It's important things that we should
Yeah,
do.
but go on.
I forgot
Mr. Guidance Counselor here.
Yeah.
I'm not a guidance counselor. The duopoly of having this, like, somebody who's, like, they both started businesses and they're both, like, learned people, but they're both, like, still kind of fucked and stuck. Because she doesn't seem happy. She's, like, sipping wine, talking to someone you can't hear. She's like, oh, well, this person shut up. She doesn't seem to like her, like, clients or patients.
You
And
only see
he's
one client,
clearly
though.
not doing well.
You only see one
Yeah.
client. I think she's more trapped in her childhood home.
She had a
More,
traumatic...
more than she's trapped in her
PTSD.
job. Because I think Clark is a lot more trapped in his job. He hates his job. He's an architect. He hates that his wife divorced him.
They both have trauma.
Yeah.
I don't see how that justifies ending the movie the way it ends.
Yeah.
Oh, because she's involved with him, she gets sucked into his stuff. Like, by the time we
But they
stop...
both have stuff, though. So
Yeah.
what is that?
Is that... Well, because we all have stuff, and we're all kind of stuck in... Is this a liminal space that we're stuck in?
But he's a lot more stuck than she is, so why end it on an image of her being stuck in the back rooms?
Because she did the opposite of Tommy Lee Jones at the end of No Country for Old Men and went through the door. You know, she suffered the consequence of now being dead and now being a refraction of a memory. He was already that, and when she got in,
we don't know that for sure because we don't know if his wife died. Because I don't think his wife is dead.
His wife being dead or not matter?
Isn't that a copy of his wife in the?
That's like out of his memory.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it doesn't mean that she's gone. It's just his version of her.
So Mary is dead by the end of the movie.
So
is that what you're saying?
I think the movie is the reason they end the movie this way is because she is not her corporeal form is not experiencing what we see as her just talking to Mark Duplass. She's a refraction stuck there like Mark was, and now she is. That's the movie's trying to show us is that like...
Wait, Mark? You mean Clark? Or wait,
Clark,
who?
excuse
I was going to say, who's Mark? Did I miss a character?
Before someone used the name, I couldn't have remembered it.
But Clark shows up as a different monster in the back room, so he shows up as a pirate monster.
Right.
So how do you explain that?
Well,
He's in there with his pirate monster.
Yeah.
And
So what about that
so,
one?
yeah,
and she's in there with her patient. Because that's not him when he shows up to her, and we haven't seen him, and we know he's got.
So you think Crazy Clark is a copy of the real Clark?
It's her copy.
Oh.
Why doesn't he look?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he look like the other ones where they have like
Right.
3 sets of
I
eyes?
see a perfect copy.
So based on the logic of this horror movie, when do you become that? Is what you're saying?
No,
there
why
some-
is the copy so good?
Yeah. Why does the copy look normal when the other ones have like 6
Right,
eyes?
the other
eyes.
copies are not that way.
I think the longer you stay in the back rooms, the more refracted your memories become, and therefore the less.
She's got 6 eyes right away at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's become that now.
But that's like
and Clark's
she's like,
memory of his wife is all distorted like that.
Yes.
Whereas, I mean, he hasn't been in there that long.
Yeah. We don't know how long he's been
Maybe
there.
maybe Phil is talking to the 6-eyed one at the end, but we're seeing it one way, and Kane should not tell us this. I think it's an interpretation.
I don't think Kane thought it through. That's always my conclusion when things don't make sense to this degree in movies. I'm not gonna do their job for them when they got paid 6 figures to write and direct this movie. He didn't write the screenplay, but to direct it. No, I'm not going to do your job for you.
Fundamental philosophical difference can I make here?
Well, no.
Oh, you're still
'cause I'm
doing it? Okay, fine.
No, like there's a certain level of ambiguity I appreciate, and then it goes beyond a certain point, and it's like you just didn't think this through.
Yeah.
You just didn't think it through.
Right. I mean, I agree. I feel like it's the job of the filmmaker to communicate with the audience of what is happening. Like, just the fact that we don't know if that's really Clark or not, and whether or not that was really what's her name?
Mary?
Mary
Yeah.
The
at
lady
the
from
end,
Sentimental
and what
Value.
happened to Mary. I mean, all of that stuff is just like everything is so open-ended that I don't feel like they did their job of telling me a complete story.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much, like, if we can sit here and talk about it and nobody really knows for sure what the filmmaker had intended with these characters, I feel like they fell a little short in their job in telling us as the audience this full story. And that makes me think that this film is not a complete film. It's intended to, for them to keep making content and getting us to go back and watch it to find out what actually happened. I don't know. That's my thought.
Yeah, that's sort of it.
Why did you think it was conclusive?
First, Gen Z, any thoughts so far before I just smoke them?
I think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it might be it might be intentional to leave it kind of up for discussion, and I think it's going to expand into more or something more than a movie, maybe an additional thing, because I think Kane Parsons has said things about expanding it or just making more things, not just the movie. And I think, like what she said, I think that'll people will think that's going to solve the kind of questions about the movie or open-ended things about the movie. I think they're gonna watch whatever comes next to figure those things out.
You're definitely right. This movie made $80 million. The next one's going to do just Friday Night.
So
Friday
it
at
can't
Freddy's.
stand on its own.
No,
so they
let
have
me-
to make another movie.
That's not okay. Can I make my counter?
Yeah,
now?
go ahead.
Okay, cool. So the fundamental disagreement that Nick and I have philosophically is that I am always worried about touching that third rail of specific example. She'll get it. Midichlorians is that it is better to leave something unsaid and make people go, well, they didn't tell me B, but I can make a connect. They told me C and they told me A, so I have to interpolate to create B, and they didn't give me a specific B. But as long as I know C and A, I'm willing to fill in the algebra of B. Do you understand what I'm saying so far?
I understand what you're saying so
You
far.
can say that's not what this did, but you agree that that's a philosophical difference.
That interpolating between A and C is okay. Movies these days are asking me to interpolate between A all the way to Z, and that's what I don't like.
You know what?
Yeah, why did she turn evil at the end?
Can I just address what he said?
And that's a
directly?
lot of interpretation for me
Yeah.
as the one who's paying to see the movie versus someone who's getting paid six figures to write the thing and should have done let me interpolate between A and C, but don't ask me to interpolate between A and Z.
That is a criticism I received when I was a freshman in high school. I was told by Andrew Vestich. They added the H to the Vestich name at Ellis Island. So I knew him pretty well. And he said, Kyle, a lot of times you're making a point and you'll just go from A to Z. And I really would have liked any of the other letters. And while...
Back on track.
I feel like where one person perceives C and one person perceives Z will differ from person to person, which is kind of the theme of this movie and why you get refractions.
I don't think that's the theme of this movie.
Yeah,
I agree that
the theme of
different
this
people
movie.
will say what is C and what's Z, but I don't think that has anything to do with the theme of the
It
movie.
feeds into the mental health thing about your memories aren't even real. That's not what really happened. Doesn't matter. Any memory you have isn't what actually happened. It is your psychology telling you what the events that your complicated set of whatever makes you exist continue. So
No,
Yeah, but still go back to why did she turn evil? Get from A to
well,
B.
that's
whatever
another
number
thing
you
too.
want me to
I
get
don't
to.
mind
Letter.
it was just so abrupt. First of all, I was really enjoying the set design and the atmosphere of the backrooms. I wanted more backrooms. Here's how many times we go in the backrooms. He goes and explores the backrooms, and then he brings the employees down
Yeah,
there.
the coworkers. Yeah.
And then Mary goes down there, and then you're at the climax already, and that's it.
that's
And-
not.
no, that is
doesn't-
it.
No, that doesn't count for runtime of those scenes, though.
I'm just saying.
No, but there's
yeah,
a
it's
lot of
runtime, but
time spent out.
but there's more. When he brought the employees down, I thought that was going to be more than just kind of one extended set piece.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to be there for longer, and there was going to be more developments. I thought we were going to see more back rooms, and then when one of them the guy gets pulled away, and then the girl, you don't know what happens to the girl, and then he's looking for the girl. You can hear her voice. I thought, oh, we're going to be looking for the girl now. You're teeing me up to think we're going to be looking for the girl, and then no, some unknown individual just picks up the camera and it cuts to black, and the next time you see the protagonist, or who you thought was the protagonist, he's evil. And I have a problem with that from a screenwriting.
It's like a vampire
that
movie.
happen?
What's your thought, Carrie? I can tell you have one.
I agree with that. I feel like there was, I wanted to find out what happened to the girl. I wanted to find out where they dragged the guy off to. I wanted to find out who was holding the camera and all of those things. And then it just cut to something else, and I never got answers to that. That was they got me intrigued, and then they just took it away and went somewhere else with it.
Can I
don't know.
Can I tell you I saw an A, C, and then I was able the B of that is he goes in the back rooms. Clark.
Yeah.
Clark. Chidwell Ejiofor?
Yeah, I don't know how to say his name. Yeah.
That's close enough.
I've practiced it before. Not for this one. Clark goes in the back rooms. Clearly they're dangerous. Right, like we all observed. You could make the argument he's thinking, oh, well, was that really dangerous? To me, him making the decision to bring other people there makes him guilty, same as async is guilty, because why would you bring someone, like, as soon as he makes that decision about the midpoint, now the movie has set, now the motion's set in course. And Act 2B is that whole sequence from when the employees, like, he's brought his subordinates in, he's screwing over younger people by exposing them to this, and they are immediately sucked up.
Well, two things. I don't think it was that obvious yet that it was dangerous. No one had been, he hadn't been like chased by anything.
Yeah, the first time he goes in. And
What's
goes
he-
Yes,
exploring the
something
space.
it's behind him, like broke
Like
that.
it's scary,
thing,
but it's
yeah.
not like, oh, I'm gonna die down here. And two, he still seemed to be of good intention. Like they were trying to figure out like what is the reason behind the place. What when he brings them down there, he wasn't doing it out of yeah. You can criticize his decision making, but it wasn't out of malice. It was just out of maybe like ignorance.
He wanted to get some evidence to show the therapist that he
Yeah.
was telling the truth.
Yeah, that's so, you know, you can say his intentions were good. He wasn't maybe thinking it through, like he wasn't, you know, considering all the possibilities. But nothing had happened like what happens to the guy whose name I don't know because we didn't see him enough because screenwriting.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's the problem when you can't remember characters' names. But, yeah.
No, I'm counting the things I know about the guy, but okay.
He wears a end apartheid shirt. That's kind of all I know about him. But okay.
And he lives with the girl.
Oh,
and
sure,
He's able to make, Clark is paying him enough that he's able to pay rent on an apartment. And he's also the one that makes commercials, so he must have some interest to, like, ability, capacity to do this for Clark. You know, the commercial ends up on TV, so, like...
And what do you remember his name?
His name
I don't
is
remember
Bobby.
names. What?
Bobby.
Okay.
Bobby, okay.
Thank you. We're older than you.
Yeah, but
Nothing
how
that
does he turn
happens to
evil
him had
then?
happened
Yeah.
to Clark before. So he, you know, it's not like he was luring them down there to whatever, like, you know.
They also made a bad decision following him. Can I be
Right.
clear? As soon as she follows after her boyfriend, I was like, no man is worth that, honey. Get the hell out of there.
Yeah,
I was watching the movie like I was in Roseville.
Yeah, she was the one who seemed to be most creeped out. Clark didn't seem to be all that. I mean, he seemed a little more curious and excited about it than scared.
Male, yeah. That's a dumb male trait. That's why we get
Well,
killed
yeah,
more
but
often.
hold on. So you're saying because he unintentionally invited these people in, he was evil all the time anyway. So he becomes evil at the end again.
No. I'm
he's
saying
always
basic screenwriting is because he does this, this happens. But then the therapist goes. And because of that...
But get from his character arc, how does he turn evil and say, I don't want to change? Why does he suddenly not want to change anymore? He's going to the therapist. He's trying to better himself. He is trying to change. But suddenly, why suddenly does he meet this monster and say, I don't want to change? And then he tells the monster, hey, my therapist said I don't need to change either. And then the monster eats him. Like, how does he suddenly decide not to change anymore?
Yeah, why does the monster
Yeah.
in the Backrooms make him evil, but then still eat him? That doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense
that
to me.
Do you ever have
Because
scary
he-
dreams?
I have scary dreams, but this is not supposed to be like
A dream.
1-to-1 ratio,
Yeah.
like equivalent to a dream, though.
I agree.
So it doesn't. It just flat out doesn't make any sense.
What part, excuse me, restate what doesn't make sense, please.
So the fact we don't know why he became evil.
Yeah.
We really don't. He disappears for a time, and then next time we see him, he's luring Mary down there to like strangle her and like tie her up in a chair.
And we agree that's the same person? Or it's the same actor, clearly, but we agree it's the character's the same and not a manifestation of her experience in the Backrooms?
Which character are you suggesting is not their real person?
I'm suggesting Clark, once at the end of the second act, we don't see him anymore.
Yeah.
I'm suggesting we only see a version of him that lady from Sentimental Value, I can't remember names, you know, it's not, I don't,
Mary.
I don't associate
Mary
that
is the
to
character's
quality.
name.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Mary, yes.
Well, if that's what they wanted, then they could have easily communicated that by having this Clark look like the other
Can I give-
monsters or whatever
Also,
you
he
want to
makes
call
a
them.
phone call. That's the other thing. He makes a phone call to her, which she gets on her answering machine, and then she goes to visit him.
Can I make the mental health argument then?
Okay.
We're all trapped in the neural synapse pathways we are most comfortable with, which is stated at the beginning of the movie. A liminal space can be like the habits or cycles we find ourselves in, and because of that, we're all damned to, ends of our own making.
Sure,
this is why you shouldn't watch movies with
I
us.
could buy that. I could buy that. Maybe he didn't want to change from the very beginning. Maybe he was just going to therapy to go to therapy. That's about it. But then he's the same person throughout
I
the
think
whole
this
movie.
is an anti-therapy movie to be a little bit. Well, I know that's not popular to say, but like some people are like, yeah, maybe you can be over therapy or you can weaponize, therapy language and all that stuff.
I don't think she weaponized therapy language.
She
or
clearly
anything.
commercialized it.
Sure, that's criminalization.
$24.99. Buy the video cassettes. Were you confused by
That's
the
just trying to
videotapes?
do good
What
business.
those were?
The,
The
in
VHSs?
the, I don't know where they were in the movie.
Oh,
but-
when her commercial is on the 4x3
Oh,
TV
yeah.
and she's selling the
Oh yeah.
those
Yeah,
blocks.
the
Those are
VHS tapes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so you've seen those in real life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've seen-
This is not a criticism of anything. I'm just curious because it's like anthropologically, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think we've had a VHS player since you were born, but somehow you
Yeah,
know
I
we are.
still. Yeah, I still.
Yeah.
I think we beat the hell out of. Oh, sorry. I think we beat the hell out of it. Is there any?
Yeah,
things
but
we
you
haven't
still
covered?
haven't convinced me how he got from A to
It's
Z.
not about convincing you. It's about the audience
It's the
listening to see
debate.
what
This
they're
is the point of the
faithful.
show. This is the
Well,
entire
I mean,
show.
yeah, I mean, I feel like your arguments are things that you assume to be true about it, just based on like what you have interpreted these scenes to be. But I don't
Art.
think the film communicated enough to the audience to really like. I feel like it's their responsibility to make the story clear, and I feel like making him just disappear and then come back as Crazy Clark and making us wonder if that's real. I mean, yeah, you're theorizing that he's like some copy of himself, but I don't see any evidence of that. And sure, it might be true, but I feel like that the goal of the filmmakers, I feel like maybe Kane Parsons is so used to putting out his YouTube videos where like, oh, something got you at the end, so then everybody goes to the comment section to talk about it and theorize what they think happened. And so I feel like he's trying to do the same thing just to generate conversations about how people interpreted things. He wants people to talk about it and analyze it just like you're doing. Instead of telling us a story and letting us walk out of the theater having some clarity as to how this film ended. Yeah, so I feel like the goal wasn't to tell us a complete story. It was to generate comments and content and conversations, and to stay tuned to find out what happens in my next miniseries, where I maybe might tell you what happens and explain what all this was about. That's my criticism.
That's how it always. That's what seems so many filmmakers seem to do these days, and I'm really like fed up with it. Like they just like ambiguity is a great tool in the right measure and the right dose. Mm-hmm. The ending of Inception is a great use of ambiguity. Right? Like I mean, like everyone loves. Like that movie would have not been as good if you knew if the top fell over.
Yeah.
Right?
You hear it fall in the credits.
Huh?
Do you?
Yes.
Oh.
Whatever. I'm just saying, like most people accept that it's ambiguous. Like that's a deep cut to say. That's beside the point. But like most people agree that that's an ambiguous ending.
That's how most people experience it. You're right. I agree.
I've
with you.
never heard it fall over in the credits either.
Neither have I, yeah.
No, it's been addressed since then, and they've like I'm a.
You're trying to just
Derail
keep a
your
debate
point?
going. Yes,
Yes.
you are trying to derail a point.
Your point's right.
That's most people, accept that's an ambiguous ending. That's a great use of ambiguity, but like now filmmakers, it's like, well, I'll just leave it. I just won't think it through. I'll just I don't have to think up rules for. No, that's exactly
You're
what they
saying
do.
you don't know for sure that he thought it through. And not to be too like you're saying for sure he didn't think it through. You don't know that. You don't know what was cut.
He didn't communicate it. If he
Yeah,
didn't
we
think it
saw
through,
the
he didn't
movie. What's in the
communicate it.
movie is in the movie.
There is space for interpretation. You don't like the amount of space. I think that's fair. I can't argue with that. because it's
Yeah,
your
because it's
your
not YouTube.
experience.
I'm paying $18, not really with A-list, but like it's not YouTube that's free. I don't want to be, I'm not signing up for the YouTube comment section to figure it out. I'm paying $18, or they're getting $18 while they're getting $9.
On the next segment is Kari and Annabelle's interview. So stay tuned.
Because I was watching the time.
Great.
And that one went long. That was like 50 minutes.
Yeah, but it kind of ended like that scene in the Backrooms where we just kind of ended it, right?
Well, I mean,
We had 50 minutes of going around the bend, and we were losing them. I mean,
Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.